What's up, guys? Double Seven Wall Street here. Welcome back to the daily trade recap where I go over trades that we took today based on the VX algo system. So this way you can learn, improve, and maybe even start making green days. All right. So yesterday on the end of the day analysis, I said that we were naturally gonna push up on the 48 minute. We're gonna push up to over here, this range here, and we haven't touched it yet, but we have made that move there, and we were bullish, so we're continuing to move up a little bit here and here. So let's go over what happened today, and then at the end of the video, I'll go over what we think is going to happen Monday. So today we have only two signals. There wasn't a lot of movement because it was very choppy. If you notice on the chart here, this is a 10-minute chart. We have tried to push up on this 10-minute resistance and rejected pretty hard. Pushed up again, rejected, pushed up another time here, and then came back down, and then continued to push up more, came back down. So this was during market open at 9:40. We tried to push past it, couldn't do it. Came back down, test the pre-market lows, which actually almost looked really bearish because we had such a steep drop at 10:20 that it looked like we were going to break the pre-market lows, but ultimately it didn't. It tested like 4 times and couldn't break down. And then eventually at 12:08, that was when we got our first bullish signal. So that was around over here. 12:08 was around here. And at this range here, we had a market structure flipping bullish, which means, our algo thinks that there's more buyers than sellers and that we're moving into bullish territory. And ideally, in that situation, as we're moving into bullish territory, you want to buy the dip at the 1 minute MOP. So that happened right here. So we pushed up and then we came back down and we continued to push up. So ideally, you want to buy the dip once the market structure flipped bullish, and that flipped bullish on 12:08. And if you just waited patiently at 12:26, you had the opportunity to buy back in for a huge push up. So this was 53.16 to as high as 53.80, right? That's almost like 64 point move, something like that. Huge move. And then at 1 p.m., we also had a sell signal. So where is that? 1 p.m. is right around here. So 1 p.m. is in this range here. Had a sell signal, short the rips. You want to short here. End up pushing back down. That would have been your 53.80s to 53.40s, as low as 53.40. So it was a 40-point move. All you needed to do was grab a 10, 20-point move there. So that worked out pretty well. That was a double signal. It was somewhat C plus setups for both of them. And they all worked out pretty good. And then as you can see on the 5-minute, we continue to break out and keep moving upwards. So it was overall a pretty bullish day like I expected yesterday. So what do we think is going to happen Monday? Let's take a look. So I drew these two big lines here, 56.10 and what is this? And this line here, 51.68. This is just the pre-market lows. I don't need that anymore. So I think we're either going to break through this line to be bullish, or if we break down this line, we are bearish and we will continue to go down further. The tariff news is still developing. There still hasn't been an agreement, but to a certain extent, it seems that both sides are somewhat willing to agree. While I think we're more willing to agree than the other side. And then inflation also came down a lot because the oil price came down. And if oil price coming down, that drove commodity and inflation price down. That also opens the pathway for us to cut rates, for FOMC to cut rates, and that can naturally be bullish for the market too. So those are the somewhat kind of the things we have going on. For Monday, I do expect somewhat of a back test. I don't know where we're going to back test exactly. I think we could potentially back test this, which was resistance today. Would love to see that become support for Monday and to kind of back test that and then eventually push up to that 48-minute resistance over here at 54.75 range. And that could be a good area to short, or that could just potentially break out to 5600. So it'll be really interesting to see how they play out, and I hope that helps you guys. And I'll probably take a look back at this journal to see how it works out Monday as well. So good luck and have a great day. Have a great weekend.